Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt, Who Vex Lose. A good afternoon to each and every one of you, wherever you guys are joining us from today. We are so privileged that you guys are with us, and we're happy to be with you as well. Today, guys, we have a very special guest with us, Monix Hetemeyer, and she's going to be sharing her really empowering story with us. If you really listen and you really think about it, a really empowering story. And I've been motivated already, and I haven't hear all of it. But I'm so glad she's decided to come on our podcast and share her story with us. Beautiful young woman, inside and out, and we're gonna be talking with her just a second. But as you know, phenomenal. We are so grateful to have so many of you join us from all over the world. And let us know where you're joining us from. Travonza Williams, good to see you. Travonza Williams, all these fancy names. Roxanne Aaron is with us as well. Isabella Butters. Isabella, how you doing? Good to see you, Isabella. Good to see you, Isabella. Claire Alexis Chomley Richmond, good to see you as well. And Shivani Ford and Laverne Joseph. Vashti Magnot joining us from Waterloo, Canada. Good to see you, Vashti. Folks, do let us know. I see Selena is here as well. Selena Fraser also joining us from Canada today. And I see Sandra Ford is here with us. Magnell Barrow is here with us as well, and Osman Edwards, Marilyn King. We're so grateful. We have a very special a bunch of folks who listen to us on a daily basis, and we're thankful for all of the persons who are new to our podcast as well. Below the belt, we sometimes get a little crazy here, but stay with us. Stay with us. There's method. There is method to the madness. Good to have you with us. I see Edward Gonzalez is joining us from the Bronx. Good to see you, Edwards, and Murnus Toby is here as well. Murnus joining us from Port Kaituma, beautiful Port Kaituma. Judith Ochoa is joining us from Queens, New York. Judith, good to have you. And Marilyn King is joining us from Region 6. Good region, Marilyn. Good region. Hope all is well there. I see Prophet Siabru's with us as well, and Desiree Smart, Felix, Verna Caesar, and Don Barnes. Don Barnes is joining us from St. Kitts. Beautiful St. Kitts. She didn't say Nevis. St. Kitts. Charlene Dulce Etendry is here too, watching us from London, watching and listening from London. She said it's very cold in London, but we hope you do all that it entails to stay warm. I see Eula Lafferman Rubens is joining us from Cayenne. Good to have you. Good to have you, Rubens. Good to have you. Amanda Nelson is here. Dawn Barnes is here. Karma Yap is here as well. Lauren Jones and Julian Mars is joining. I don't know if it's from us or it's from the US, but it has US. A capital U, common S. But that could mean the US or it could mean joining you from us. Folks, y'all have a little extra here. Good to have all of you folks, the hundreds of you who are joining our podcast. Thanks for joining. You know, we always say as soon as you guys touch down, as soon as y'all roll in the Coliseum and the ring in the arena, share the podcast for us. Smash that emoji button as well. And you guys know we usually bring some updates to you, and then we bring our guests. But today we try as much as possible to facilitate our guests, and we're gonna have this is one of the shows we're gonna have our guests first. I beg your pardon. We're gonna have our guests first, and then we're gonna bring you guys up to date with some of the other stuff that is happening across the country, some happening in the region, and some even internationally. We're going to be talking to you about those issues, guys. But first, welcome to each and every one of you, wherever you guys are joining us from. Welcome below the belt, folks. Welcome to our international podcast. You folks make the podcast what it is. And, you know, some of you would have been following our affiliate program in the ring, and we featured this story where in New Amsterdam, outside an establishment called Big B's, there was an accident there. A car ended up plowing into Big B's, which is a fast food enterprise there in New Amsterdam. And initially, we thought that that was all that took place. But as details emerged, folks, as details of that incident emerged, we realized that there were persons who were injured in that accident. And on this International Women's Day, we're going to be talking with one of those persons who was severely injured, and we're going to talk about the extent of her injuries when we bring her on in just a second. But she was severely injured, but remained in spite of that. I think this is what is so inspiring. She's remained upbeat, she has remained focused and determined to live a normal life as possible. Folks, across the across our country and across the world, where you guys are joining us from, we are so privileged to have Monix Hetemeyer with us here. And as we say, Happy International Women's Day 2022, we say to Monique, Happy International Women's Day to you as well. Monique, welcome to our program for the very first time. Welcome.
Hi, Howard. Thank you for having me.
So great to have you, Monique. So very great to have you. As I said to you when we spoke initially, our thoughts and prayers are with you. We are all inspired by this story, by your story, by this narrative, and we're so privileged to have you with us today. Monique, for those of persons who don't know so much about you, I mean, I've been reading some of your story at the back end, and I want to say to our viewers that Monique is a singer, and I just might put her on the spot and ask her to do a verse of something for us. She's a singer, musician, and an educator. This is very special to me because I spent about 12 years of my life teaching. So Monique is an educator. I'm very inspired by that. She has two wonderful children. She's also married, and I was giving you some of the backstory. Monique, talk to us a little bit about yourself. Help our listeners to understand who Monique Hetemeyer is.
Well, firstly, my name is Monix, as in Monix.
Monique.
Like this, Monix, yes, Monix Hetemeyer. And I live in New Amsterdam. I'm married. I have two children. I've been an educator for um, maybe about 15 years now. And I currently teach at the New Amsterdam Secondary School in the Modern Languages Department.
Fantastic.
And
What
also,
what 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 made you wanted to get into education, if you don't mind me asking?
actually, I did some interviews and this question was posed. And to be honest, I actually didn't want to get into education.
Hmm.
I kind of stumbled into this profession.
Hmm.
But then when I went to CPC, then is when I can honestly say that, when I graduated, I really found a passion in this profession.
Lovely, lovely, and I think the profession is better off having you, Monique. Go on and tell us a little bit more about yourself. I interrupted you there.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say as well. I'm a part-time lecturer at the University of Guyana. I teach introduction to Spanish, beginner Spanish. My husband and I we pastor a church under the Full Gospel um group of churches, I should say,
Hmm.
and our our apostle who is Apostle Wilbur Daniel. That's our that's mainly like the mother church. He sent us when we have another church under that church, and so we pastor that church. My husband and I we've been pastoring the church for um maybe about 6 years now or so.
And how is that going? And you're free to share the name of the church with us too.
Yes, the name of the church is the Redeemed Full Gospel Church.
And I'm assuming this is in New Amsterdam
Um,
as well.
yes, it's actually in one of the most impoverished areas in the town, and known as Anglois Avenue. And I don't know if you know
Yep,
about Anglois
yep,
Avenue.
yep.
So we're directly in the center of Anglois Avenue.
And how is that ministry going, Monique?
Well, I would say it's going really well. Of course, with everything that you're now starting, we do have struggles and all of that, but we've been seeing the move of God. We've been seeing persons coming out. The church is gradually growing, and we really just doing what God has called us to do, and in that we are satisfied, and more so satisfied to see Him move in the area. So yeah.
Excellent. I'm certain the community is better off as well, having the church and having you folks pastor the church
Yes.
and yourself being the first lady of that church. Monique, but then fate on this fateful day, February 20th, 2022, took you to Big B's. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, on Sunday, February 20th, I was I took my friend out, Charmin Andrews. I just decided to take her out for the night, just like a little girl's night out.
Mhm.
So we went to Big B's and we were outside because actually the inside was filled with people. So we decided to eat outside. And everything was going good. We were there maybe like from 7:30 up until like 9 or so. And
Hanging
through
out
the
as
night,
girls.
pardon me?
Just hanging out as girls.
Yes, exactly. Just talking, and just having a relaxing time. And we had finished eating dinner and we were eating ice cream. And out of nowhere, this car came. It was like in seconds. We had no time to do anything else or to move out to the way or to. It just drove, lost control, and drove directly into our table. Unfortunately, I suffered most of the hit because it drove directly, you can say, to my direction. So, and that
Wow.
was it.
So there is this car that has careened, left the road, and has hit you guys. You're dining outdoors, Big B's in New Amsterdam. What are you
Mhm.
thinking in that second? You don't have any time to think before that impact, but you know something is wrong now. The whole setting there has changed from one of relaxation, a fun and frolic. And what are you thinking in that moment?
Well, in that moment, all I was just, I was just so confused, and I could remember saying, "Oh my God, what is happening here?" And sometimes I think to myself, I had a lot of thoughts run through my mind at that time, like in seconds, and maybe I was in a state of disbelief, like I'm actually in this situation. And what happened is when the car hit, we were outside, but the car hit us straight into Big B, and it was a glass. We flew through the glass,
My God. In that
right?
moment, are you thinking I've been hit by a car, or are you just thinking something's happening?
In the moment, I'm thinking a lot of things. I'm hit by the car. I'm looking at my legs because what happened is that my legs, all of the flesh. I I'm thinking to myself, I'm really a strong person, and thank God, because I was conscious to everything, and so all of the flesh on my legs, and it was like off. I had to hold it together so that I wouldn't lose more blood because I lost a lot of blood that night.
And this
So it
is
was
your
just
right leg, your left leg. Which was the one that was so badly injured?
the left leg.
The left leg. And so you have now been hit by something. You have all these thoughts running through your head. What happens next?
Well, I started screaming to hell because the thing is, the thing is, the accident happened, and for a split second or minute, everybody froze, right? Because nobody could believe that this actually happened. So everybody froze, and then everybody got like frantic. It was really like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Mm-hmm.
person started running all over, and then I started screaming and asking for help because at that point I could not feel my left leg, like the ankle and the toes and so on. I could have felt my right leg. So I was screaming and asking for him to help me up, help me to, get me to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So that was precisely what was going on at that time.
And how
And
did you get to the hospital eventually from being in that
subsequently,
state?
subsequently, I don't know who was the person, but this guy came and he hyped me up and he hyped Charmin up. But Charmin was still able to stand because she was not so severely impacted like how I was. So, but she has injuries as well. So he lifted me up, put me in. It, I think it was a pickup or something like that, and um, and he put Charmin as well, and they rushed us to the New Amsterdam hospital.
And you're at the hospital, you're getting some medical attention, no doubt. What are the doctors or the attendants there saying to you, the nurses and so on, about the extent of your injuries?
Well, they're not saying anything really, but they're just looking at it and trying to be professional and um at the same time attending to the wound, getting who they need to get, and just busy doing whatever it is that they have to do. So um it wasn't like if they were like talking to me and saying, okay, this is what is happening. They were trying to assess the injury and try to do what they can do in that moment. So that's what was happening.
Hmm. And then things keeps getting worse because you got some terrible news following that initial medical treatment you received.
Mm.
Talk to us a little bit about that, Monique.
Well, in the same night, I went into surgery and they did what they had to do. And then the following morning, the doctors they came and they spoke to me and they said that the right leg is going to heal and it's not that hurt. However, the left leg was severely damaged and the nerve was damaged, damaged to the point that it was severed and
The
it was
nerve in your left leg, that
yes, it
is.
was severed, and that is not the entire leg, just the calf part of the leg at the back.
Hmm.
And he was saying to me that some of the nerve was left at the seam, so they had to stretch it to connect it back again
Hmm.
in surgery.
Wow. Wow. And
Yeah.
and and so there's surgery on your leg. What happens from there?
But after the surgery, I was at the hospital and they were monitoring it and dressing it and all of that.
You're still at the New Amsterdam Public Hospital.
So I knew I'm some public hospital. And but then I developed a fever, right? And so the doctor, Dr. Nelson, he was saying to me that he doesn't know why I'm having this fever because everything else is okay with me and, health wise and everything. So he was trying to figure out why I'm having this fever. And then when they reopened the foot, then they discovered that the foot was infected.
What?
And the infection had spread to like the bone and the muscle and all of that. So let me back up. The reason for the infection is the amount of debris that was in the foot. Because apparently like at the scene, like a lot of glass and all of that
Hmm.
got into the foot. So the doctor said they tried as much to debride the foot during the first surgery and wash out everything and that.
Hmm.
But then they didn't get everything, right? So which is which is not particularly their fault because it was a lot of debris. They didn't get everything. But then afterwards, you know, they discovered that the foot was infected.
And Remind us how long it is after the initial surgery. The doctors are now telling you that your left leg that sustained most of the damage from this horrific accident there at Big B's in New Amsterdam. How long after they were telling you this
I
that is
think this
infected?
is maybe like Thursday or so, I
Mhm.
think.
So you're now 4 days at hospital, 5 days.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah, around Thursday or so, right? So after they did that, they said that well, then they brought in the head of department, and he said that he's going to go in back because he's not the person that did the surgery. Dr. Ali, Dr. Ali did the surgery. And so they went in back, Dr. Hestic, who's the head of department, and Dr. Nelson.
Wenton
And
back
they said,
means they are going back to operate on your leg.
uh-huh. So they went and they did another debridement on the foot, washing out and all of that. And when they were finished with that, the next day now they said, that there's still the infection and let's see what's going to happen.
So it's Friday.
Around that time. Yeah.
Monix,
Friday,
what are you thinking
Saturday.
at this point as a person? There's now a second surgery. There's some complications. What are you thinking as a person?
Well, I told my mother, I said, this is not looking good at all. And I don't think that, honestly, that they're up to doing what needs to be done to save my leg. So that's what I'm thinking. So I'm already thinking that, you know what, I need to get out of here and start, advocating for myself at this point. Because I thought to me I was patient. I was, waiting and see what's gonna happen. But then after that second surgery, Dr. Nelson came to me and he said that it really does not look good, and you know at this point I should just pray, leave it up to prayers, and because there's a possibility that I could lose my leg.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
And take us from there. You're now having doubts as to the quality of care you're receiving, and
Hmm.
you're now telling you the complication is that your leg is now more infected because of all of the debris and whatever else um, went on there at the hospital. What happens next, Manix?
So after that, I talked to my mother, my husband, and all of that. Well, my husband, he works with Exxon, so I was communicating with him on phone at this point.
Mhm.
So all of them agreed that, you know what, they need to get me out of there. And so on Monday, I was transferred to Woodlands Hospital.
You're 8 days now in medical care, being transferred from the New Amsterdam Public Hospital to Woodlands Hospital. What
Mhm.
happens next?
So when I'm transferred here, my doctor's name is Dr. Samuel, and he told me basically what they were saying, that the leg is infected, and um, we need to debride it and all of that. So he told me that we're going to get into surgery and then let's see what happens after. So we did the surgery, and afterwards, but at this point, I didn't have an appetite or anything like that. And that was
Mhm.
because of the infection in my leg. It was spreading to, it was making me sick. So
And s-
after he did,
and so the surgery is to stem the infection.
yes, to stop it, to try to stop it and from spreading.
Mhm.
So he did the surgery, and I must say after he did the surgery, I felt way better. My appetite came back like right away. and the leg started feeling better and all of that. He said he's going to let's keep looking at it, and he's going to try his best to, let's see how the infection goes. But then he was very honest with me and he said, um, if the infection can't be contained, that there's a high chance that I would have to amputate the leg below the knee.
Mhm.
Hmm.
They're preparing you for the worst.
Yeah.
And are they telling that kind of infection? I know you aren't a medical person, but does it have a name? The name of the infection that is spreading in your leg?
I don't think they particularly said a name,
Hmm.
but they just told me why the leg was infected. And the reason it was infected was
Hmm.
because the amount of debris that was in the leg that
Hmm.
they could not get out.
And so
Yeah.
here is the doctor at Woodlands preparing you for the worst. And
Mm.
what are you thinking at this point?
Well, I'm just I wanted to know, right? And the strange thing about it, and I keep telling my family members all the time, that in all of this, and some persons did not believe me at first, and they thought that maybe I was deflecting or not being, not being able to not being able to face what is happening. But in all of it, I was just very at peace. I have never been depressed, cried, had any discouraging thoughts or anything like that. I was just like, you know what? I just need to move forward.
Mhm.
And one of
Mhm.
the reasons I believe that this was so is because I'm a woman of faith as number one. And I really, 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 really believe in God and I have to put my faith to the test. As well, there were a lot and there are a lot of persons praying to me. Not only in this country, out of this country, and I
Yeah.
think from that, it might seem hard to understand. Sometimes we say we're praying for persons and all of that. And indeed, prayers are not limited or
No
contained
borders or
for
boundaries.
time or a place or
Yeah.
anything like that. And I really believe that all of these prayers really kept me really strong.
Hmm.
And so I
More
am
power
just
to you.
thankful for that.
More power to you, Monix. So you're now 8, 9, 10 days on the medical care. Where is the because you and your friend were out just having a casual evening, having a ladies' night out for all intents and purposes. You were
Hmm.
hit by this vehicle outside the establishment where you guys are dining.
Hmm.
Where is the driver of the vehicle in all of this?
Well, he was in custody for a couple of days, and it's strange, but my husband knows the person. They're actually friends.
What a strange twist of fate.
And he right now he's at work. He's a cook, I think. He works with Exxon, and
This is your husband's friend.
yeah, and so he was in custody. Yesterday, I learned my husband was telling me, got the police spoke to them, um, spoke to him. Sorry, called him in to give him an update of what the situation is and everything. And he has a lot of charges against him, a lot of charges. Like, for instance, he was not licensed, the vehicle was not insured, and as well not his.
Wow, such a confluence of
And
events.
so he has a lot he has a lot of thing. my husband and I, we decided, right, because we already spoke to him, but what I can see, right,
Hmm.
is that after the accident, his wife, she found my bag or my phone and all of that, and she brought it to me. They visited me in the hospital. They are willing to do whatever they need to do and all of that.
Hmm.
It's strange to say no, but my husband even had a chance to pray with him and his wife because even though they did a really stupid thing, it really is sad to see what's going to turn out with him, if
So
you understand what I'm saying.
yes, fully, fully. So was there anybody else in the car with him when he plowed into you and your friend dining out?
I
Charmin
think his wife was in the
was in the
car.
car too,
Oh, yeah,
and
both of them were in first.
yeah, and so their plate is full. I think your plate is even fuller. You've gotten this prognosis from the doctor. They're gonna wait and see how the second surgery goes to try to stem this infection that
Mm,
is spreading in your leg. Tell us what
yeah.
happens next.
So, right now, the leg is amputated, like I said, and they amputated it.
They
And
had to
it,
amputate your leg eventually.
uh-huh, yeah, they did.
And when did
After.
you get this news that this was the turn that the medical staff was going to take at Woodlands Hospital?
So, today's, what day is it? Today's
Today's the 8th day of March.
last week Thursday because the surgery was done on Friday.
So last week, Thursday, you
Mm-hmm.
had some doctors or a doctor come to you in the hospital there at Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
And how are they coming around to telling you this bit
Well,
of
it was Dr. Samru, and I think he really did well in relating what he had to relate. He just told me, what was happening, that the infection, despite him going in and doing all of the debridement and, that sort of thing, it still is not progressing the way that he would want it to progress,
Mhm.
right? And so he said to save the leg in itself and to prevent it from, maybe moving up forward,
Mhm.
um, we should, amputation is another option for us to do.
And how do you decide that I'm going to go with the doctor's advice? How do you make that decision in that moment?
Well, firstly, I had a chance to look at my leg. I wasn't my leg.
Mhm.
Because what happened is every time they went into surgery, they took a part of the leg. You understand?
Mhm.
They were chipping away at the muscle. And I forgot to say this. He was saying that because the infection is spreading to the muscle and all of that, right? They're taking the muscle, trying to chip away, chip away, chip away, chip away to see how much of the infection they can get. And so he was saying that a lot of the leg is going, and so um, for me to stand up properly and to hold my weight, I would need a percentage of that muscle in place. And so that was going gradually.
Wow.
And actually, the leg had like a hole at the back of it.
Mhm.
So considering and it was paining really bad. It was really really
Mhm.
painful.
So is it
So
is it a decision you took maybe after you spoke with your family, or is it the quietude of a hospital room you are going to decide this is the way you're going to go?
I spoke with my husband, and I also spoke with my family, immediate family.
And so the hospital amputates the leg last week Thursday, last week Friday.
Hmm.
And what has been happening since that time?
Well, the leg has been getting better each day. I don't have a lot of pain. Actually, I can move the leg up and down. The pain is going every day. It's getting better every day. I feel better every day. And today, just before I came on here, the doctor would normally come every day and dress the leg. And so he said that it's looking better. So that's good. It means that it's healing.
And you are discharged, or
I'm still at Woodlands
you're still
because
at Woodland. So you're talking to us
yeah,
from your hospital bed.
yeah, I'm talking to you from the hospital.
Monix, you're such an inspiration the way you've gone about this. You went on to tell us that your husband even prayed with a gentleman who plowed into you and your friend who were just, again, having a girls' night out there at Big B's in New
Yep,
Amsterdam. Prayed with him.
prayed and encouraged them. Yep. Hmm.
What is that like, Monix? Do you think, because
Well, the good thing is
you did say
we
you're a person
are
of faith. Go right ahead.
exactly because we're Christians, right? And we don't just talk about being Christians, we exemplify being Christians. And so it is in our nature to care about people and to want to encourage people despite whatever the situation is. So I think from that, and if anybody knows my husband, he is that way as well.
Monique, we're so inspired by this story. We are so inspired by this story. What happens next for you? I know that there is a GoFundMe page. Your life is going to be tremendously altered by this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a GoFundMe page set up that aims to meet some of your medical expenses. I think you're even thinking about prosthetics and that kind of stuff because as you said, your left leg has been amputated just below your knee.
Mm-hmm.
What happens from here?
So I am just projecting moving forward, full recovery and all of the therapy that comes with it. I am, as the doctor says, as long as my knee heals properly, that I can do stitches with prosthetics. So definitely I'm going to pursue that down the road. And yeah, so that's it. I'm thinking number one, above everything else, I'm reminded that I have life.
Mhm.
I have life, and for me, the first thing is having life. And when you have life, anything else, and there's a possibility of anything else, as I see it. And so I am happy about that. And whatever it is I have to do, I'm a very determined, optimistic person. So whatever I have to do, I'm going to do it just to get back to my normal, well, relatively, well, what it's going to be a new norm to me,
Mhm. As can be
so I'm going
expected.
to
Yeah.
try to get back to that. And at the end of the day, as I see it, there's nothing that I can't do that I could have done before. So that is really comforting to me. I can still go back to my teaching. I can still do everything, every other thing that I have to do. But it's just that I need to get through this recovery part, and I'm not worried about that because if you know the amount of support, and let me just say, I want to take the time out now to say that I am so grateful and I'm so filled with joy as it relates to the amount of support that I have gotten from all over. Sometimes you think that, yeah, sometimes people read stuff and, they don't really connect with it. And they say, well, they really hope that that person feels well and, that kind of on the surface response.
Mhm.
But I can tell you, I have had real responses from people calling, giving. I am overwhelmed by it, and I just want to thank everybody. And above all, I am grateful to God for what He is doing and will continue to do.
But like, let's talk for a second about that. Because as I know, as a person of faith, and you are full in the limelight in the church community in New Amsterdam there, and then you trusted into the national limelight even now. You're a
Mm-hmm.
person of faith. You're the first lady of a church in New Amsterdam. I think person of faith first and foremost. In all of this, Monix, what do you think God is saying to you?
Hmm. God, God is, I think, right now showing me a part of Himself that I have never ever experienced. And I think my faith, my everything, relationship, I was telling my husband this morning, everything for me has been lifted to another level. Like I was saying, when I give my testimony in church, I might pick up the whole service. And I really believe that God is definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, going to use me to bless other persons and to be able
I
to
think He's doing so even now.
encourage other persons. Yes.
I'm seeing
And
some of the
so,
comments as we talk on social media, and I think that has already begun. Great ahead, Monix.
yes, so that's why I really, really believe that. And I was telling my husband, the devil may think that, because I honestly think that the devil is aiming for my life, but God has sustained me, He has sustained my life.
Well,
And
I
I know
know,
for
I know
sure
you appreciate what we say in, in our communities of faith, that what the devil meant for bad,
exactly what He meant for
yeah,
evil, God is going to turn it around for good.
yeah.
And not just a lot and lots and lots and lots and lots of good. So I am excited to be able to be used in that way to inspire other people. So that's how I feel.
And I think there's so I'm watching the comments here and reading them, and I think you're well on that journey to doing what you've said there. How has your husband and the kids been through all of this?
Well, to be honest, my kids are not phased
Hmm.
at all. They are at home. Children, when you have like a healthy environment and
Hmm.
all of that, they know that I'm here. And as well, I think my response to the situation has helped a lot of my family because they look at me and I'm not like down or depressed or anything like that. So they tell me, "Oh my gosh, Monique, your reaction is making us feel encouraged and happy and all of that." And that goes to my husband as well. And he is of great support to me. Thankfully, he's at home for the month, so he's been here.
I know they got people listening to us, Manix, who are going through all kinds of stuff in their own personal lives on this International Women's Day 2022, and you've exemplified what it means to be a strong, courageous woman. If there's ever a picture in a dictionary next to a woman of courage, yours, they're right there. Yours, they're right there. How do you talk to people about overcoming difficulties? Here, you went on an ordinary Sunday evening with your friend Charmaine, to grab a bite and to unwind, perhaps after a hectic week. And your life is irrevocably changed in this way. How do you overcome such difficulties? Your advice.
Well, first and foremost, simply my faith, God. God is the one. I cannot. This is miraculous to me. Even God is the one that is helping me to overcome this. God is the one that is currently helping me to challenge myself. To do what I need to do. And so, for persons who may be going through, a lot, all I can say to them is to hold on to God. Hold on to God. Secondly, thank God for life. And like I said before, as long as you have life, there is the possibility of anything else. There's a possibility for something else to happen. And so sometimes I know it's hard. Sometimes when you're in a situation and you tend to focus on this present situation, you tend to focus on what's going on around you, right? But sometimes we don't extend our vision to see that, this is just for a time, and time moves and time heals. And so, given another season, you're going to be in a different state of mind, a different place. It's just to know that you're going through this. And so, if persons can understand that it is just to know, you just need to get through it now, and you're going to be able to move forward. But in all of it, God has been my sustaining, calming, I should say. He has been everything to me. And secondly, of course, my family, who is who have given me a 1,000% support, family, friends, colleagues, all of that. So having a strong support system as well is really, really good.
Monique, speaking to you here has been so um, inspiring for me. It's been so uplifting, and I'm certain to uh, lots of our other viewers who have joined us by the hundreds for today's podcast. And I really, really want to thank you for sharing your story with us. We wish you all of the very, very best on the road ahead. It's going to be a long road, but we really wish you the very best. And we're going to check in with you periodically to see how you're doing. And you are going to be in our prayers
Thank
at this
you.
end.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank
Folks,
you so
folks,
much.
I have shared Monix GoFundMe account in our page. I'm going to post it. I've shared it in the comments on this podcast, but I'm going to post it on our page as well, so you guys can come back. And a long road ahead for Monix Hetemeyer, Mrs. Monix Hetemeyer, and I wish that you guys can be a blessing to her in this way. The GoFundMe page account is posted in the comment, and I'm going to post it by itself on our pages. And guys, I really encourage you to be a blessing. You've listened to her, not a born of malice, of regret, of malice towards the gentleman who inflicted this kind of damage on her body, just buoyed by her faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and moving forward. Monix Hetemeyer, you're an inspiration to us all. And this, again, I say it, International Women's Day 2022. Thank you so much for your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sherry, for having me. Thank you very much.
All the best to you and your family.
Thank you. You too.
Folks, again, that was Monix Hetemeyer. I was looking for a way to pin that comment, and I'm going to still try to do it while I have you folks with me to pin that comment so you guys can see it in even greater way on the page there. But again, folks, I couldn't ask for better guests, knowing the significance of today, and couldn't ask for a better bunch of folks who have joined the podcast than you guys. As I said, for those of you who are people of faith, like Monix Hetemeyer, you can continue to lift her and her family up in your prayers, and as well, you can be a tangible blessing to Monix by again um, contributing to her that GoFundMe account. Guys, this is a real story, and it's so inspiring. Her spirit, the way she's dealing with this situation here, really, 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 truly inspiring. And Monix, I hope you have a second or two a little later on to read some of the comments um, that are under this broadcast. That you are joining us from your hospital bed, and so uplifting, so uplifting. I don't know how you do it, but I think you did say to us is your faith in the Lord Jesus Christ that has given you this very, very different outlook. And I want to really, really thank you for taking the time and doing this. And I'm going to share it again, and hopefully we can pin it on our Facebook account, but definitely we're going to share it as well on our page so that you guys can be a blessing to Monix Hetemeyer on this new journey that she has to undertake as being an amputee after this horrific, horrific accident. Great having so many of you guys on our program, and thank you for all those kind words you've said about Monique and her story. Thank you for all of those kind words, folks. I'm certain Monix is going to be so much more encouraged after she reads some of the comments. You can leave a comment there as well. Thank you so much, folks. And that's all I'm going to say this afternoon for this program. You know, those those of you who people of faith, you know, when you go to church and the service goes a certain way, you don't want to interrupt, as they say, the move of the spirit. So I'm not going to add anything else this afternoon than to say thanks all of you. Thanks to all of you for tuning in and being so supportive of Monique's and her journey. I'm going to try to pin the comment on the page. All right. We're going to try to pin it, and definitely we're going to share. Sorry, we're going to try to pin the GoFundMe account link, and we're going to definitely post it after the podcast. I want to thank so many of you for joining us. Dion, Griff and Joylyn Cook. I hope you guys have been inspired in some way. Selena Fraser from Monique's story. Maybe as people of faith yourselves, to cling a little closer to your faith. You know, when sorrows come, not like single spies, but like battalions. You need an anchor, you know. You all remember that old hymn? The anchor holds, people. The anchor holds against the solid rock. You gotta get something for the anchor to hold against. And Monique had her faith, has her faith, and she has clung to that faith, and that has been responsible for this really, really superb outlook. And you know, Facebook keeps changing up things all the time. We're posting the comment, looking to post it, looking to pin it, and it's eluding us. But we're gonna. I'm certain you've seen that link for the GoFundMe coming from our comments in the comment section wherever you're joining our program from. But we're gonna pin it to our Facebook page at Sherry Avery Duncan, and we invite you guys to be a blessing to Monique as she proceeds on this new journey. Buoyant, buoyant spirit. Thanks, Wendy Rowland, for joining us today. Jackie Beard, John Barnes, and Elaine Springer. Thanks, Ann Beverly and Marilyn King, Tasha Sillett. Good to have each and every one of you here with us. And thanks to Monix Hetemeyer for being our guest today on our international podcast, Below the Belt, as we discuss change and challenges of a life after a horrific, horrific accident. And as I said, you know, just two young ladies out having a girls' evening out in New Amsterdam, grabbing a bite to eat at Big B's when this horrific accident happened. A car careened off the main road there and, you know, collided with them. And, you know, now her leg has been amputated and she goes into a new phase of her life, a new phase of her life, unfazed, as it were, by this incident. Monix Hetemeyer is a singer, she's a musician, she's an educator, she's a wife and a mother to two wonderful children. And she has dedicated her life to serving her family and her community. I think of no other deserving person in this International Women's Day of your generosity. And we've posted that GoFundMe account. The link is in the comments, and we're going to post it to our page as well. As a matter of fact, as I'm on the broadcast, I'm going to do that even now to post the link directly to my Facebook page at Sherry Avery Duncan on Facebook. On Facebook, we are going to post it there. But again, so grateful that so many of you joined us today. So grateful that JG is here with us and Angela Jordan. So grateful that Jackie Baird is here with us and Stacey Ann Stoll. And you know, we really wish Monix all the best moving forwards. Monix Hetemeyer, we wish the best to the kids and her husband. Um, you know, a really tremendously encouraging, inspiring family going through all of this without even breaking stride. Samoa Williams, good to see you there. And Roxanne Odessa, good to see you. Patricia Kisoon and Osman Edwards, good to see you. Rowena Williams, Paulette Hawk Kippins, great to see each and every one of you guys. So grateful. Donna Liverpool, we see you there. We see you. I see Lucretia Selena, Diane, Anne Beverly, Jean Bond, we see you. Joylyn Cook. Folks, that's our time today. Thanks for joining our international podcast. Thanks to our guests, and thanks to you, all of our tremendous viewers, our listeners. Thank you so much. That's our time for today. We're going to see you guys back here in the ring at 8 p.m. Folks, if there's a podcast you should share, share this one. Somebody might need this uplifting, inspiring words of Monix Hetemeyer. Share the podcast, folks. Smash that emoji button for us. Share the podcast. Thanks for joining us, folks. That's going to do it for us at this end today. We're going to see you guys back tomorrow for another program of Below the Belt, our international podcast. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe wherever you are. And guys, we see it all the time on these programs. Arrive alive, guys. Arrive alive, arrive in good shape. Slow down, be cautious on the road, right? And as Monique's situation demonstrates, sometimes it's not you who end up in the problems, it's other people. Be, spare a word for the other road users, guys. Spare a thought for them. Thanks for joining us. That's our time. Stay safe.